At a carol service last year, a piece of prose was read that had been written in the 17th century. It caught my imagination and inspired me to want to write a modern version. The original piece had begun with the words, "He was born in a barn," which I also used as my opening for this 21st century version. I've now read it twice, once at St. Michael's, Chester Square, on behalf of the Parliamentary Carol Concert, and last night at Marylebone Parish Church for Chain of Hope. Next Wednesday, I'll be reading it on behalf of Cancer Research UK at St. Mary's, Marylebone. But for those who didn't make the first two services and can't manage the third, I've decided to record it here. If you enjoy it, please share it with your friends and followers. Happy Christmas. He was born in a barn. His father a carpenter, and his mother a decent enough woman but of no significance, and they certainly couldn't have afforded to give the boy a private education. And yet, as a teenager, he was arguing the toss with his elders and betters in the council chambers. He never got a proper job, just roamed around the countryside unshaven, living off bread and water and the occasional fish, while offering his opinions to those who cared to listen. He became the manager of a football team known as the Disciples. Not one of them a star. In fact, the 12th man rather let the side down by accepting a transfer fee of 30 pieces of silver to play for the opposition. The authorities eventually arrested him as a rabble-rouser, but couldn't decide what to charge him with, other than the fact he claimed he was the Son of God. They strung him up with a couple of other criminals, and when he finally gave up the ghost, rather assumed that would be the last they'd hear of him. The Disciples were relegated at the end of the season. In fact, the captain denied on more than one occasion that he'd ever been a member of his team. When he died, at the age of 33, there were no obituaries in the local press reporting his achievements, no glossy supplements highlighting his colourful career, no radio programs to discuss his legacy, and certainly no box sets recording any of his miracles. But then, he never relied on focus groups to advise him on current trends, or advertising gurus to spend millions promoting his brand, or spin doctors to sharpen his image. And he didn't require social media to keep his followers up to date. So, you could be forgiven for assuming he'd be forgotten in a few days. So how can one explain that over 2,000 years later, Jesus Christ is still the best-known celebrity on earth? Could it just be that he was the Son of God?